completely off the cuff, so please forgive any poorly thought about language and delays and things like that, and ums and ahs and whatnot. Anyway, the point of this is try to get Logshark running in a container on a Linux virtual machine. I'm guessing it should be easy enough, but having reviewed the documentation, we have to build the Docker container image ourselves from the source code. So let's do that, and then after that should just be a case of running the Docker image and feeding it a log file. It should work. But before we do any of that, let's upgrade the instance because this is brand new. Sudo apt install docker.io. Seems to be the right one. WM Docker. Then we need to clone the GitHub repository. There we have Git, so let's just do git clone. And I got that link from the Logshark repo on GitHub. So now we have a folder called Logshark, and we should have a command called Docker. And the instructions suggest to first build the image. So from the directory where the Logshark SLN file is. So let's just make sure we have the Logshark SLN file in the directory, in our working directory. We do, so now we can do docker build f logshark / docker file t logshark dot. Permission denied. Do we need to run this as root? Looks like we do. Okay, that looks like it's going and fetching everything it needs to build the image. Okay, so it looks like it's a problem with the latest version of Logshark. So we'll just go back a version. What I'm going to do is just remove that directory. Rather than git clone, I'm going to fetch the source code for the older version. Unzip that older version into Logshark 422. Let's just rename that to Logshark. And let's try and do that build again. Looks like it's working now. Okay, and I guess the next step is to grab a logs file. It wants me to give a path. Yay, we got some logs. It should be in this directory. Yeah, we got logs.zip. Okay, excellent. Right, so then the command to process those logs is docker run a path to the logs.zip file on the machine that you're on, and then you need to map that to just a generic location within the container app/logs.zip. That will be the same every time. And then the path to that we want to output to home Ubuntu. You know what? Let's make an output directory, shall we? Well, I suspect I don't think it'll create one for us, so this might error out. And then we need to map that to the output directory that's going to be inside the container. And then, do we need any other options? No more options. Now we just need to call the container to run, latest version of the Logshark container we just built. Logs.zip. I think that's it. Oh man, need to change my need to change the permissions on that Docker daemon so that my user can run it without having to go to root all the time. So there were some problems here. It certainly ran. So the good news is the container ran. It initialized. Let's just see if we map this correctly. So we did sudo docker run. Let's do the fully qualified path here. So it's home Ubuntu /logzip. Oh, that looks like it's doing something more than what it did last time. Hey, there we go. All right, so what have we learned? Always use the fully qualified path. Docker has to run with sudo unless you go and change its permissions. Use the older version of Logshark 4.2.2 if you want to build the image. Therewith endeth the lesson, I think. We'll just double check that we can see our output. Right, we have new output there. It's the second one, 01727. And if we go into the hyper directory, we should be able to see that some of these files are bigger than the empty. This is the default size for an empty hyper file. But you can see some of these actually have some data in them, which is good. Great stuff. All right, thank you for watching.